busting my balls, Billy, okay?
I can already tell that I don't like you.
Fuck you, bust on my ball.
I ain't scared of you motherfuckers.
It might be your first ball job.
Yeah, of course.
How long did it take for the guy to come?
What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Bustin' Balls. I'm your host, Eric Pennell. OW20 is my squirt. I'm here with the very funny Phil. Go ahead and introduce who you are, because I don't know how to say your fucking last name. You know, I got like a fucking 12th grade education, and when I see like last names, I'm like, how does he say that?
It's Landriault.
Landriault?
Yeah.
That's how you say that? What is that, man? What is that?
French Canadian.
Oh, it's French Canadian. Fucking white people that are French Canadians and shit like that, dude.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
If my father would have came into the United States through New Orleans, it would have been Landriault.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Why? What do you say that? Why do you say that?
Because a lot of the people that came in from France or from Canada through New Orleans, they changed. You always hear the stories about how somebody had like a super Polish last name or a super Italian last name. And they come into the United States,
and then they fucking switch it around a little bit.
In like Garibaldi becomes Smith.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
Yeah.
So, if you go down south to like the Creole, the New Orleans, folks, you'll see almost my exact same last name with the AULT at the end.
Really?
And it's Alt.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's where you came in from? Your people came in from Canada?
Yeah. So my dad actually immigrated here 2 years after I was born.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he became a citizen 2 years after I was born.
No shit, dude.
Yeah.
So you got people still still in Canada and stuff like that? You still got family?
My whole family.
I don't know any motherfuckers from Canada. The only people I ever know that's always from Canada is like fucking like pop stars like fucking Justin Bieber or like Jim Carrey. Like I don't have no connection to Canada at all. Like I don't know anybody that's like. So you're the first dude that I know that's from fucking Canada.
Which I'm actually surprised because Chicago.
It's like right there.
Well, and Chicago's literally the most Canadian city in the United States.
Why do you say that? I don't feel that at all.
You could legitimately take Toronto and Chicago and flip-flop them. No one will notice.
I don't know about that.
Yeah.
I guarantee you there's way more Mexican people here than in fucking Toronto.
Oh, probably.
And I guarantee you there's way more hoodie-ass black people here than fucking Toronto.
I don't know about that.
You don't know about that?
I don't know about that.
I heard Toronto, dude. When I talk to Toronto people, they say Toronto does remind them a lot of Chicago. It's a great town. But they said Toronto, like, they don't really have, like, dangerous hoods like we have here and shit like that.
I mean, nothing's as dangerous as the hood in Chicago.
It's fucking crazy, right?
Yeah.
Dude, I'm a rideshare driver, and I'm picking up great people in every neighborhood. But some of these neighborhoods I drive through where I go in the daytime, dude. Oh my god! In the daytime when I drive through some neighborhoods, I go, man, look at this neighborhood. I really like it, And it's like you see good people and stuff in it.
Oh, yeah.
And then at night, it has a different vibe to it, though, dude.
So when I was selling in Chicago, they basically gave me the entire wherever there was a murder recently. That's my territory.
Yeah.
So I used to walk up and down in a suit, going from warehouse to
They probably
warehouse.
thought you were like an alderman or something like
well,
that.
either
Right?
that or like ICE or some shit. Or
Yeah.
DCFS.
Yeah, this is the only comedian that I know pulls up because we're doing it in my car because I was like, hey, dude, he lives in a nicer community that's not close to me, and I go, so we met in the middle, and so we're doing a podcast in my car outside of a fucking Starbucks and a vitamin store, and this guy pulls up in a Mercedes. I go, who the fuck? What comedians pull up in a fucking Mercedes, dude?
Ones whose wives make a lot of money.
Oh yeah, your wife's doing well, huh?
Yeah, she's doing good.
How is that when your wife makes a lot of money? Does she treat you like an asshole, or is it like is it like, nah, she's real respectful about it. She doesn't treat me like a punk.
So she always treated me like an asshole, even when I was making more money.
I know.
But now she makes more. Now she treats me like an asshole, but wearing better clothes.
Yeah. Yeah, that's nothing you ever hear about, Like I love women, of course. But like I just talked to a young woman today that was she's probably like a college girl, and she's like, I go, what do you got going on today? And she goes, I'm going to there's this program that we're going to teach young women leadership skills. And I wanted to tell her, like, what are you going to do for like an hour? Just teach them how to be better at being bossy and fucking complaining all the time or something like that? Because that's what fucking dude. Look, that's one thing you never hear about that women do. they complain a lot.
I mean, so do we. They just made it an art form.
Yeah, I think women complain way. But my wife critiques me on it. Like I could if I was like Michelangelo or whatever like that, and I go, honey, look at this ceiling in here. Look what I just did in this great building. I made this this great little painting on the
missed a spot.
on the yeah. She would come in and go, yeah, you missed a spot over there. I don't like how you did this coloring over here. How'd you do that? I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't know what is it about them that they're always like picking with us.
I don't know. I mean,
it's in them. That's what it is.
Well, I feel like they hang their because I hear this.
It's
all
definitely
the
a
time.
broad stroke. All right, there's great women out there, but this is a broad stroke.
But I hear almost on a daily basis. Oh yeah, well you don't shove a baby out of your dick or something. Like they kind of hang their hats on that.
But you know what, dude? I throw water on that really quick because you know what? Without the seed, you ain't growing shit.
Well, that's true.
You know what I'm saying? Without
do all the work.
No, but the seed. That's what you say. But without the seed, that thing is barren. It's going to look like fucking Mars. Okay. Right. Yeah. Right. Dude, you ever watch World Star Hip Hop? You ever watch that fucking thing?
No.
You don't get on World Star Hip Hop.
No.
Dude, I'm telling you, there's two things that I suggest people get on: Tic Toc and World Star Hip Hop.
I saw that's the video.
Yeah.
TikTok. Yeah.
Yeah.
It is amazing how much I don't know about the things that are going on.
Well, as a comedian, you got to get plugged in, dude.
I do. I coming up here, I popped 780, the news channel on the radio. Just I'm like, I don't know what's going on in the world. I literally just sit in my house.
Well, some shit though. I hear you're saying some shit though, like the real world. I don't want to know what's going on anymore, and I do know what's going on for like the most part. I mean, I know like where I do like a flyby over on the news where I go, like what's going on over there. I kind of see it, but I'm going 400 miles an hour and I'm going to not pay much more attention to it because it will drive you fucking crazy.
Well, it drives me crazy when I watch the actual news on TV, which I don't do very often because we don't just sit home and watch
I just
TV
see it on my
anymore.
device. Like on Instagram, you'll see clips or like little clips of certain things and you go, oh, okay, that's what's going on.
When you're watching like the local news,
like
I'm always sitting there thinking like, why is this news? Like somebody took a shit today. Like why is that news?
Well, it's bullshit news. Like that's what I was going to bring up is like, what's news now is like there's like a fucking asshole opening up a brand new ice cream packaging and they fucking lick the top of it, then they put the lid back on Instagram or something like that or TikTok.
Yeah.
Did you see that?
No.
Boy, you are disconnected. Yeah, there's a young woman that goes into like Walmart or a grocery store and somebody's recording her and she takes off like an ice cream packaging, takes off the lid, licks the top of it, and then puts the capping back on there and goes hee 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 hee, and then just walks off, which is like a big deal. Like you can't be fucking doing that. So, and what a surprise, once that asshole dummy does that, now every other dummy asshole's going into like stores, and like I just seen a chick on World Star Hip Hop today that she was fucking grabbing just like 20-ounce sodas and just open them and just taking a sip of them, putting the cap back on. Open them, putting a sip of it, and putting the cap back on. It's like you're a fucking copycat idiot fucking world.
People have way too much time on their hands.
Dude, I seen a fucking guy because I do rideshare, man. Yeah. It's the perfect thing for like comedy, man, and it's one perfect job for comedy. And there was some asshole was getting in cabs and Ubers and just letting off like firecrackers and fucking bottle rackets in the back of a car. Like he'll light them right before he gets out, and then he gets out of the car and then lets it.
Once he's out of the car.
Yeah.
Shit.
That dude needs his ass whooped. He's like probably like a 17 to 20-year-old fucking dickhead. And it's like, that's what you're doing, dude?
Yeah.
Like you're basically fucking up somebody's car that is paying for their family's fucking that's what pays for their family's bills and their mortgage and their fucking kids' food.
I mean, not only that, I mean it's dangerous as hell.
That dude needs to get
his. You're driving, all of a sudden something starts popping up in the back seat.
Dude, I seen on also another video that was on World Star where there was a fucking and this is not like it's like uncommon, but I would not recommend it, where a father's out in the backyard with a Roman candle and he's shooting Roman candles at his kids and like a bunch of kids in the background, and he shot his fucking kid in the fucking head.
Oh yeah.
And it fucking burnt the size of a 50-cent piece out of the kid's fucking head.
We were shooting stuff off this past weekend. And I'm not the kind of person to go crazy with fireworks. I leave that to my neighbors. But
yeah, me too, man.
A couple of weeks ago, or a couple of houses down, these kids, teenagers, they no shirts on, which is the first, I don't know what's going on there.
Dum-dums.
And they're shooting bottle rockets and Roman candles at each other. And one guy got hit in the head, and he's like, "Oh, that really hurt." And they're like, let's do it again.
You think, you fucking idiot? Yeah, and I get it, man. I get it. Like, it's like young guy shit, and it's but you don't realize like what can go bad on that.
I'm trying to think back. Like, we're about the same age. I'm trying to think back. What? I mean, aside from ding dong ditching when we were a kid,
Well, we didn't call it that.
No.
Are you kidding me? What you called it ding dong ditching?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
What do you call it?
Yeah, we called it N-word knocking. That's what they did in fucking Ohio.
Well, that's
and
Ohio
trust
for
me,
you.
I wouldn't say it now, and I wouldn't. And dude, it ain't like I made it up. All right, just like we used to play something that we used to do this thing with the football after we get done playing football. We would do this game where we'd say, okay, you go at the end of the field, and everybody else that was playing football. So there's like 12 of us, 8 to 12 of us. We fucking kick it, or we throw a bomb all the way down to the field, and that person tries to get past everybody, right? And we used to call that smear the queer.
Right.
We used to call it smear the queer.
We used to do it more of a. It was kind of more like rugby.
Yeah.
The way we used to do it, it was. We'd throw the ball up in the air. There'd be 15 or 20 of us or whatever. Throw the ball up in the air. Somebody grabs it. You go after.
You just go.
And
Yeah.
You try and get the ball. Then whoever gets the ball.
And they're trying to get past you. That person with the ball is trying to get past you and shit. Yeah, man. No, I mean we did shit like that, man. I mean we did some nasty ass shit, but dude, I mean
nothing like this. We never. I mean, we would go into stores and steal shit. We wouldn't lick a ice cream top.
The only thing I ever stole was my first thing I ever stole was a Hershey bar, and my mom found out about it, and I was ashamed of it. I was a little kid. Oh yeah. And then when I was a teenager.
Before you continue, did she take you back to the store and make you apologize?
She didn't
My
do
mom
that.
made me do that.
No, really?
Oh yeah, she
yeah.
walked.
That's a good move.
She walked right back in the store.
Yeah.
And then the guy's like, well, I don't know. It's like he's like, whatever.
Dude, today I seen a little kid. He's in my neighborhood, and it was one of my side streets, like a couple blocks from my house. Little kid, like a 7-year-old, just walking by himself, and he had a thin stick. And he was taking a stick down like a fence and going with the fence, right? Yeah. But then when he got by the garage, which was like plastic siding, he fucking whacked it, the plastic siding with that fence of the garage siding, and I beeped at him because he was like right there, right where my fucking pasture window is at, right where he did that. I beeped at him and I pointed at him and I did the no to my head, like doing no, and he looked at me like, oh yeah. It's like, hey, fuck this. You know what, dude? You know, like, you know how it takes a village?
Oh yeah.
Guess what? It does take a village, but if anybody sees you like telling their kids something, they get a fucking attitude about it. That whole village shit is bullshit. But it is. It's like, look, man, I'm an older guy, and when I see a little dude not doing something where it's like, hey, don't do that. You know? I mean, I get it. The parents probably wouldn't like you doing that, but all I did was point at him and shake my head like, hey, don't fucking do that.
I had this happen to me. You remember the movie Logan that came out?
Yeah.
The Wolverine movie?
Yeah. I've seen it a couple times, but I didn't really like it that much.
Super gory.
Yeah.
So I go to see it, and I'm there by myself, and I'm sitting in this row, and it was like the theater I went to had like a super big deal, like $5 movies on a Saturday or whatever, and I'm sitting in this row, and it's literally like a 3-year-old, a 4-year-old, a 5-year-old, a 6-year-old. Like literally, this one family has had a kid every year for the last like 15 years.
Jesus.
And at the end is the parents. The little girl that's sitting maybe 5 or 6 seats from me is cowering in her seat.
Why?
Like because of how gory the movie is. Like she's just like crying.
Little pussy.
Well, yeah. I mean, there's that. But at the same time, she's like 3 and watching an R-rated
she shouldn't
movie.
be there.
So I go talk to I just out of curiosity, because now I'm a dad, and it's like, I got to do dad. I got to do dad shit. I go to the theater, the pimple-faced kid behind the counter. I'm like, hey, how old is it to see an R-rated movie?
Yeah.
He says, well, 2 years old. And obviously, if you're going there by yourself, you've got to be 17.
Yeah.
But if you're 2 years old or older, and your parents there, you can go.
That's
and I'm
fucking
like,
crazy.
2 years old.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there thinking, like, My kid was 2 at the time.
Yeah.
I'm like, there's no way that I'm going to bring my kid in here.
Well, especially if you think about R-rated movies when we were kids, I think they're a bit different than R-rated movies now. I don't know if that's true, but I feel like they were. They were more sexual violence and stuff in those movies. I feel like they're more reality. Well, maybe not. But you also shouldn't be bringing a fucking 2-year-old to like a gory killer.
So I'm standing there talking to this kid about it, and he's and as we're standing there, this family comes up. It's a mom, a grandmother, and then a kid with a freaking pacifier.
Yeah.
And they wanted to go see Get Out.
Yeah.
And it's R-rated. You know, it's a great movie.
Yeah.
But the kid, you know, and I happen to have been standing there, and the kid behind the counter says, "Well, I'm sorry, but your child's too young to go." The grandmother, who's probably in her 60s or 70s, is like, "Well, isn't it the parents' choice?"
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, it's your choice to be an asshole, but they don't have to give you a ticket.
Just giant dickheads, man. People, but that person's always been around. That person has always been around. That you're just a fucking asshole, and that you're, you know, don't tell me nothing. I'm a fucking adult. I want to take my kid here, but dude, there's certain things. Well, but it also is their kid, and it's like good. You know, they want to raise their kid like a fucking asshole, and that's what you're gonna do. Dude, I do rideshare, and I picked up a woman yesterday in Maywood, and the daughter gets in my car, and she's a teenager, probably 14, and the mother is literally fighting with the family verbally and outside the car, like 20 feet away before she gets in, and you could tell it was like a real like disagreement, and don't you be telling me that type stuff, blah 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 blah, and then the mother 3 minutes later gets in my car, she's pissed off, she calls her other sister that's in the family, and basically was like, that bitch better watch her mouth. I'll pull her to the ground, and I got my daughter with her, and she'll jump in too. And I'm like, who the fuck would promote you beating up family members and then have your daughter that's like 14 jump into it too? Well, and I come from trashy people. And I would never promote that idea at all.
I know some people who teach their kids, you know, if you get hit, you hit back.
Yeah.
And I'm not a fan of that. I mean, yeah.
But I get it.
Yeah.
I get it, though. I mean, that's different. Dude, for example, when I was a kid and I had a bully that was punching on me, I'm telling you, there was one time that I did not fight back, and that still bothers me that I didn't fight back.
Oh, yeah.
To this day. But then the times that I did fight back, I sleep good about it. So it's a different thing. It's a weird thing of like where it's like sometimes, dude, I always feel like everybody has an inner warrior in them, and sometimes whether people like it or not, that warrior has to go to war. And whether you get your ass whooped, I'd rather go to the war and get your ass whooped than like somebody brings a war to you and you fucking just surrender and you just get fucking your ass beat.
Well, there's so many times that you can just save yourself time, save yourself, you know, anguish just by going with the flow.
Yeah.
You know, I just saw a video on YouTube about this woman. I don't know if you've been to Walmart lately.
Yeah.
But anytime you're leaving Walmart, they check your receipt.
I fucking hate that
bullshit. Kind of like they do at Costco.
Yeah.
And this one woman, I don't know where she was from. I just caught this video. She says, "Well, I don't want to show you. Like that's not. You know, like if you're accusing me of stealing, then accuse me of stealing and call the cops.
Yeah.
But if I'm not stealing, or if you don't think I'm stealing, then why do I have to show you my receipt?
Sure.
Like, here it is, and then just walk out. The guy literally like stopped her from leaving. And it's like, if you're, and then I saw the video, and just the other day I was at Walmart, and then sure enough, the guy's like, "Hey, can I see your receipt?" And I'm like, I don't have time to bullshit with this guy. I don't have time to have the cops come. But yeah, it's like I don't have time to stand up for myself.
Yeah.
You know, I don't have time, so I'm going to be complacent.
Yeah, there are things where it's like, here it is, let me go on about my fucking way.
Right.
But also, though, like, I get it. They're worried about theft and shit like that. But it's also like, you know, I just spent money at your place, and now I feel like you're hassling me.
Right.
And yeah, right now I might not have an option to go to another store the next time I want to come for these items. But eventually, when I find another place, I'm going to leave this place. I'm not coming back here because you're fucking hassling me. Didn't you just see me over at the self-checkout just fucking buy it? I get it. I know people aren't paying for things in the self-checkout and whatever. I get it, man. But it is a pain in the fucking ass, though, sometimes.
Well,
it's insulting a little bit.
They just assume everybody's stealing.
That's probably it, right?
I mean, that's what it is. I mean,
there are a lot of people stealing.
Back in the day, it wasn't like that.
I know.
Back in the day, you went in. Oh, but then again, back in the day, there wasn't self-checkouts.
Well, you know what they're going. Well, they're going to beat this too, though, because I used to know somebody when I was in high school. I knew a girl that was a fucking giant thief, and I'm talking a really good thief. And a girl that I was dating at the time was her best friend, and she had a walk-in closet, and it was like 2 foot of fucking brand new clothes with tags on it and stuff like that. She was the first person. I don't know if it's still, I think it still sort of works like this, but I don't know, maybe not. Maybe the technology changed, but she would take a dress bag and she would line it with aluminum foil and tape it really good and line it with aluminum foil. And she would literally, and I had a hanger in there in a dress bag, and she would take clothes and put it in that dress bag and like maybe zip it up or something. I don't know how she did it because I was never with her.
Yeah.
And she would just walk right out of the fucking place without the thing going off.
That's next level.
Dude, she fucking had. So she would have people come to her, like her girlfriends and stuff, and go, "Hey, I seen this dress or this shirt at this place, and this place it was red. Get me a medium." And she would fucking go do that, and she would sell them the clothes and stuff like that. Yeah, but.
And now she's the CEO of Google.
No, I don't know what she. Last time I seen her, she was driving a Mercedes that was similar to yours, man. So I'm sure she figured out her life. But that girl, she had a rough life, man. Yeah. She had a rough life. That girl told me. She didn't tell me. The girl I was dating told me that she goes, yeah. One day she was coming home from school, and her mom was a crackhead, and she seen her mom sucking some dude's dick in the car.
Oh God.
How do you fucking grow up like that? How do you grow up like that when you see your mom fucking sucking some dude's fucking like as a crackhead?
Yeah.
It's got to be rough, man.
Yeah.
I just seen a video on World Star today also that it was fucking 2 separate families fist fighting at Disney World. And both kids were just like, "Mom, Dad, no, don't do this. No, no, no." And they're the ones sounding like they make sense.
Right.
And the parents are just locked in like fucking bulls just trying to fist fight.
Sometimes it's funny because I kind of sometimes felt when I was growing up that I was kind of parenting my parents.
Yeah.
Because
me too. Well, I think we all might do that in our own way. Because I had that too. My dad had my stepdad had a business, and my mom had a business for a lot of years, and so I was a lot like a latchkey kid. I was never. I was always home by myself. I'm an only child. And there was times where our house was dirty, where I felt like I was cleaning our house way more than my mom or my parents were cleaning the house and shit like that. And so stuff like that, I felt like I feel like I was making dinner pretty early by myself. And but what do you mean? What do you mean you were parenting your parents?
So my dad was a much older guy. He was 40. He was 45 when I was born.
Yeah.
So he had already given up.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't give a shit. I'm a dirty old man. I'm going to say what I feel.
At 45?
Oh, yeah. I mean, by the time I'm 5, he's 50. By the time I'm 15, he's,
And I guess, because, dude, I'm 43. I'm about to be 44, in November. But I haven't given up yet. So, man, I haven't given up yet,
It's
a different. I think 50 then was different than even as 50 now. It seems like they were older.
I think you and I were talking about this a couple of weeks ago.
What?
It's because understand that 50 today is much different than 50 when our parents turned 50, because my dad grew up when he was growing up, he worked in the copper mines. That ages you. He traveled the world.
Where was he working at copper mines at? Where was that at?
Canada.
Up in Canada?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
So is he underground? Is that where you get copper, like underground or in a mountain or some shit like that?
Yeah, something like that.
See, that's real man shit right there, dude. Who the fuck works in copper mines now? I mean, I know there are people, I assume.
You're not going to get super old, or you're not going to age yourself by sitting in a cubicle.
Yeah.
These guys all went to war. My dad went to Korea.
Fucking Korean War?
Yeah.
Your dad was in the Korean War?
Yeah.
The Korean War.
The Korean War.
Holy shit.
Korean War 2, the return, I don't know.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. He was a POW in the Korean War.
Your dad was a POW. He's a prisoner of war.
Prisoner of war for 6 months.
6 months?
Till the day he died, he was still afraid of the dark.
Did he put a watch up his ass or anything like that from like Pulp Fiction or anything like that? Where he's like, I gotta get this watch.
Never got it back out.
Did he ever talk about that ever? Was it a POW, or is it like, nah, he doesn't really talk about that?
It was weird. He would talk to my friends who went in the military. But he wouldn't talk to me about it. Because I never went in the military.
Yeah.
But he had this thing where only other military guys know what's going on.
It's funny how like nowadays people is like, it's ma'am, it's not sir, it's ma'am, and that's like their challenges. And your fucking dad was a prisoner of war for 6 months.
Right.
That's fucking crazy, dude.
Yeah. For a bullshit war.
For a bullshit war?
Well, I mean, it really didn't have much to do with us.
Yeah, I don't even know what the Korean War was actually about.
It's because North Korea was invaded. Well, really, The crux of it was the fact that China was trying to spread communism,
yeah.
and North Korea was communist, South Korea was not, and we were helping them out.
Yeah.
I mean, ultimately, I'm sure there's.
Did he ever say he never told you how he got caught? Was he just marching along or what?
No, he was a pilot for the Canadian Air Force.
Whoa.
And he got shot down.
Canadian Air Force.
So they went under the flag of the UN.
Whoa.
And he actually got shot down 3 times.
Jesus
and
Christ.
The one, I don't know, how do you go up after that? You get shot down
You're
once.
You're a fucking gangster,
he
dude.
He got shot down 3 times.
Well, you're just a fucking badass, dude. I mean, that's just what it is. I mean, you go fuck it then.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just what it's part of the business, and you become an expert. I assume a guy that has no problem going back up's a fucking expert, and he goes, that happens, or I'll figure it out. I mean,
right.
And also, it's your fucking job.
Yeah.
That's another thing where people go, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. It's like, tell that motherfucker. Mm-hmm. That guy gets shot down. You're serious. You're not bullshitting me. Your dad got
100%.
shot down 3 times.
3 times.
He was a POW for 6 months.
Yep.
Is that guy still alive?
No. He died in 2007.
Damn, that dude was gangster, dude. That's crazy.
But here's what I'm saying. When he's 50, he might as well have been 100.
I know.
Compared to when we're 50.
He lived a life.
Yeah, when we're 50, that's like the new 30.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But back then it's, so when and he's 50.
Whoa.
And he's already I don't give a shit about shit. I used to have my friends come over. We had a pool in our backyard, and we'd come over, spend every day of the summer in my backyard. Then my dad come out. He'd have a couple of drinks, and he'd start smoking, and he'd tell us about how the Jews started all the wars. He didn't know. He didn't know if my friends were Jewish.
What?
He didn't give a shit.
He was but that was his theory on it, the Jews that started all the wars.
Yeah, I mean,
Is there any? Did you ever look that up? Is there any?
No.
Is there any anything backing that up where you go, yeah, no, they did this, they did that, and you go, okay, that's interesting. Tell me more.
Yeah,
well, yeah, on this war they did this, they did that. Okay, all right, you're building a case.
I don't. The thing is that he was the most racist Canadian I've ever met. How are Canadians racist?
I don't know. I know racism gets thrown around and everybody's scared of it. They run it's like a comic bomb, and other comics don't even want to look at them or even be near them. Dude, I know it's not popular to say. I think everybody. I'm calling people of color. Everybody has their little. They have a couple drops of their version of racism in them that they have. They already have something locked and loaded on a certain type of people.
Oh, yeah.
And some have. I totally get it. I totally get it. African Americans probably they have problems with certain others because not all. It's a broad stroke with certain people because of this, that, and this, and they got a fucking case on that. And that was a different generation too. I mean, that's a different generation. Your dad's generation of saying these people are these people and stuff it used to be very acceptable. Not saying that racism.
It was more mainstream.
It was more mainstream.
Yeah.
Now people run from it. Now, some of these things, even saying oh, we called it N-word knocking. People would be like, oh, how I've never heard of. Oh, man, shut the fuck up, okay? I'm a fucking comedian. I'm being honest here. If we're not being honest, okay, well then I'm gonna have to figure out a way to lie better, like you do, but like others do. But there was a time where this was it, man.
Yeah.
And the good thing is, it's not that time anymore. It has changed.
Right.
Not saying it's completely erased and it's never going to be 100%. I don't ever believe in 100%. I always tell people there's never going to be 100% of anything. You don't want people,
there's no absolutes.
You don't want people to murder? Well, guess what? Well, there shouldn't be murder. Well, do you think we're going to get rid of 100% of murder if humans are walking around the way they are now? I mean, yeah, if we have surrogates where we're in house and we have these robots walking around, maybe not. But if humans how they are now, there's never going to be 100% of that. Yeah. Racism, there's never going to. You try to get the percentage as small as possible, but there's always going to be idiots.
Well, the thing is that with racism, it's something happened to you, or you were brought up a certain way, where something happened to your folks.
Yeah.
And the thing with my dad, I have no idea of anything that ever happened to him.
Mm-hmm.
And he wasn't necessarily racist against one particular group.
Well, I'm sure he wasn't too fond of Koreans.
Well, that's the thing. He fell and broke his hip when he was 70. He died when he was almost 75.
Mm-hmm.
We end up getting the orthopedic surgeon that used to be the orthopedic surgeon for the Chicago Bulls.
Mm-hmm.
This is the top guy in Illinois.
Yeah, the guy.
He is Korean.
Yeah.
Before my dad went under, he's like, "Are you North Korean or South Korean?"
Uh-huh.
And he's like, "I'm South Korean, sir." I don't know for a fact that he was, but
yeah.
he knew why my dad.
Well,
was
he's
asking.
here,
right? Well, it doesn't mean. I mean,
Well, I'm sure a lot of North Koreans go, hey, Kim Jong, whatever your name is, I gotta go work on the Chicago Bulls and
Right.
fucking Phil's dad this week, and I'm gonna fly over there. I mean, he's definitely not.
but I asked my dad later. I'm like, dude, what would you have done? You're about to go under. Like, they have the mask on your face. What would you have done if he would have said, yeah, I'm North Korean? Would you be like, no, fuck this, I'm out of here?
Yeah,
you can't go anywhere.
Yeah, no,
because
he's got
your
the
hips
mask
broken.
on. He's gonna throw a couple racial slurs, and then he's gonna slowly go to sleep, and then wake up with a new hip.
Dude, growing up, man, my dad loved basketball.
Oh yeah.
But he never called it basketball.
What do you call it?
He called it. He said, "Hey, let's watch all the jumping N words."
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
like Richard Pryor, that funny N word. Like,
Whoa.
Dad.
Really?
yeah, and I grew and
But you know what's crazy is that he's being racist as fuck, but you could tell he obviously enjoys the product
Exactly.
and what the humans bringing him. They're basketball people are bringing him joy, but he's still dropping that. But is he dropping that for humor? Because sometimes people will say things like that, and they're just like. Sometimes people will say stuff like that, but they're doing it for humor. I'm a comedian, so I know what
Right.
that means when people say something inappropriate, but they're really just trying to get a reaction out of you.
Right.
You know? You think
But I mean-
there's a percentage of that he's doing?
I think he was doing it just to save time.
Yeah.
He's just like, listen, let's just do this because he couldn't remember like the guy's name. He couldn't remember this or that. He's
Yeah.
like, that funny N word.
Yeah.
I'm like,
But you know another thing that's never talked about that people just completely like it's weird that they act like it doesn't exist. But to think that people of color aren't racist at all.
oh no, there's racism all over the place.
That the people of color are just walking around like oh my God, what do they I've never heard of this racism, or I don't say anything about people with lighter skin color. I don't have dude, I'm around Hispanic people a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I've always worked with them since I've been in Chicago, and I fuck them. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm with them, and dude, you'll hear. Like Hispanic people are racist to other Hispanic people. Like they're racist on darker Hispanic people, on lighter Hispanic
Oh,
people.
yeah.
Just like African Americans make their jokes about darker African Americans and lighter African Americans. It's
Right.
white people do it too with like white pasty motherfuckers. They'll make fun of that. Like redheads that are like fucking transparent.
gingers, yeah.
Yeah, like it's funny how it's just a human thing, dude. It's a weird
Do not
thing.
put a person from Mexico in the same room as a person from Puerto Rico.
I know.
They hate each other.
Well, they can hate each other.
That's what I've seen.
Because they make fun of like how they hack up like for example, I've heard like Puerto Ricans how they speak their version of Spanish,
Right.
and you talk to a Mexican and they go, yeah, they chop up the language. They shorten their words. They blah blah. And since I don't speak Spanish, I don't know what the fuck they're
Well,
talking
and the
about.
Spaniards are like, fuck all y'all. You guys are all screwing up our language.
That's right.
Yeah.
But then they sound funny with that.
yeah.
They have that like weird. They have that weird fucking thing about but they're like the true, right? They're like
Right.
true bred.
Oh yeah.
The Spanish people to
I
them
used-
probably, right?
I used to know this girl who was half Mexican, half Puerto Rican.
Yeah.
I always joked. I'm like, oh, so you hate yourself every night, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm like, how does that happen? How does your dad, who's Mexican, go with your mom, who's Puerto Rican? And then I met her. I'm like, okay, now I get it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, well dude, I can't believe I'm glad that you're fucking honest about your your dad like that, cuz a lot of people would like hide that. Where they'd be like, oh no, they just wouldn't even say that. Because, dude, I didn't grow up around a lot of racism, but growing up in Ohio, every once in a while, and I've said this before, dude, every once in a while, because I grew up around all black kids. Like in Ohio, I thought I was black until I was like 22. If you'd have heard how I talked 20 years ago, I did not sound like this. Because I grew up mainly, all my best friends until recently were always like black kids. They're African American kids. And every once in a while, even in Ohio, I'd be in a room, and it was, it might have just been a room where I'm hanging out with somebody, and they take me somewhere, and you'll hear some fucking ignorant dude drop the N-word. But even then, I knew it was inappropriate, and it wasn't like, since I hung around like black dudes all the time, like I knew it was like, yeah, I get what you're saying, but I always just discarded it.
Oh, yeah.
Like luckily, but what sucks is when people are dropping N-words at young age, and then people like they adopt it and they go, yeah. It's weird. Like I was immune to it because I knew it was bullshit. But the sucks is the people out there that they just pick it up and that's how they continue that racism.
I find it interesting how people in our age group
Yeah.
can be a certain way about a certain group.
Yeah.
Like, I maybe that's the way I was brought up. Now keep in mind, I grew up in Barrington.
Yeah. Which is a suburb of Chicago that's pretty nice.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The only black guy that I knew was Walter Payton.
Whoa.
He lived.
Walter Payton lived in your community?
Yeah, he lived in Barrington.
Oh my
I
God!
went
One of
to
the greatest running backs of all time lived in your
Absolutely.
fucking community.
He'd drive a different car to school every day
Yeah.
to drop off lunch
Yeah.
for his son.
Mhm.
You know, I knew his son. He probably doesn't know me anymore, but because that was like 1,000 years ago.
Mhm.
But like, I was in the whitest of white communities.
Yeah.
And then my dad's dropping the N-word.
Yeah.
You know, around the corner, like because
Sure.
my dad's literally from like the hillbilly area of Canada.
Yeah, and he's also, that's weird because I got hillbillies in my family from West Virginia.
Yeah.
Like I got, same thing where but he also did a hard blue collar job too. Like that's like a different type of human too, man. It's not like that guy's like Don Draper working in fucking, Fifth Avenue or something like that in New York City.
Right.
I mean, he's working with like hard men that also probably don't bullshit. And they're fucking down there joking. They're fucking down there. They don't pull no punches. And they're also like men. That's a different type of motherfucker.
Absolutely.
You put any type of fucking human down there, and you put women down there, and 5 years later they're coming up talking like a fucking sailor, dude. I mean, it's not. You're getting a different type of human.
Well, understand too that
It's a different world today too.
Oh, absolutely.
That's what people don't realize.
He started working the compromise when he was a teenager. When he was like
Yeah.
13, 14.
Young.
His parents died when he was 16.
Young. You got to become a grown up and a man real quick. Your parents died at 16. You start working in hard ass jobs at 13. That's a different thing. Motherfuckers now are coding. Motherfuckers now are making money off fucking Snapchat and like fucking influencers on they're making a shitload of money on
I was just
YouTube.
gonna say Instagram influencers
And your
drive me up the frickin'
fucking
wall.
dad is in a fucking coal mine and his parents die at 16 and he's a fucking shot down 3 times and he's a prisoner of war. That's a different human. And you're wondering why he's talking like that?
Right.
Man, get out of his face, cunt. You don't understand life then. You don't understand humans. That's to say that your dad didn't have any trauma in his life.
Oh, forget it. That's all he had.
And they didn't even talk about trauma then. You know what I'm saying? They were like men and women, they didn't really talk about it. It's just like, yeah, whatever. Let me keep it moving. I don't got time to think about that shit.
Well, Carlin's got that bit about they used to call what do they call PTSD now?
Yeah.
They used to call it shell shock. And then
shell
changed
shock
it.
was a real thing.
Then they changed it to
That's funny. I've not thought of shell shock in 15, 20 years, but you're right.
Listen to that bit from Carlin.
Yeah.
He talks about how we're like softening up our words and things like that.
Absolutely.
It's so true.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, every generation we're changing words, and and then we also villainize the word that we used in the last generation or so. Behind that 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 we're constantly feeling bad that we use those words.
Right.
Like right now, dude. It's I won't say it, but the R word for like people that have like Down syndrome and stuff.
Right.
Now it's on the spectrum. But dude, I'm not lying, dude. I've had somebody. I was trying to use that joke, but I had somebody go, "You must be on the spectrum," and I didn't know the bitch, and she was saying I must be on the spectrum. What she just basically said was, she basically thinks like saying I'm retarded. Like that's what I'm saying. Like she's saying, like she just basically called me retarded. But now that's acceptable as saying on the spectrum,
right?
Air quotes.
In 20 years, on the spectrum, we won't be able to say.
They won't be able to say.
No.
I guarantee you.
Unless things.
And it's the same thing with like people of color, because dude, it was obviously the worst words, and then it was like Negro, and then it was like whatever the words were, and now you can't say those. And I get it. We change the. But some words, dude, we don't need to get rid of. I mean, you just maybe not say it, or maybe I don't know what the answer is, but we do villainize it. We villainize it. It's just like, midget. And I get it. Maybe midget isn't I didn't know midget was a bad word. Every time I would say midget years ago, I wasn't saying that was the word that you called them.
Right.
What were they?
Right.
And then, yes, was it a dwarf? Okay, but pretty soon it is going to be like, well, you can't say dwarf.
But I always thought that there was a complete difference between someone who is considered a midget and someone who's considered a dwarf. They are different types of people.
Me too. That's what I thought too.
Yeah. Because there's
Right, but these are all words, and not even trying to be shock value, but these are all words that now we villainize and we make us feel bad about that we used them, but those were the words of that time. And again, I get it. There are where it's like, no, but we should. Bottom line, I guess you should just fucking respect everybody the same, right? I mean, that's really what it is, man. But with humans, just like humans that are fighting at fucking at Disney World,
right.
and just like idiots that are licking fucking ice cream lids, there's always going to be idiots, and you're just not gonna. We're not gonna. It's never gonna go away, man. You're always gonna have fucking assholes.
I'm trying to remember whether or not I'm trying to remember what I heard on the news just recently, but I think on the CTA buses or on the trains or something, they're talking about the idea of having a button that a pregnant woman can push. So then everybody knows that she's pregnant, and whoever wants to give her seat, or basically they make special seats.
Sure.
Just for people who are pregnant.
Yeah.
Which is great. But the thing is I'm sitting here, my mind immediately goes to, all right, who's going to abuse this?
That's it.
Like, who's going to just...
That's it. That's exactly like the people that that you have a special needs dog. Okay, and yeah, there might be somebody out there that's like, I can't breathe without petting my fucking little Shih Tzu's head and get on this plane. And then cut to a couple years later, you got some asshole fucking teenager and their dickhead parents getting on with the fucking Labrador, and it's like, that man, get the fuck out of here.
Do you hear about the turkey? Some guy tried to bring a turkey on a plane. It was like my, my special turkey companion.
Yeah,
like a fucking turkey.
Yeah. Well, you know about the special needs. Is it the special needs animals? It's either a dog or a mini horse. Do you know that?
No, I didn't know.
Dude, I used to work in the hotel
horse.
business. And yeah, the law is. I think it's for. Is it the special needs? I can't remember that's not how they word it. It's not special needs. I can't remember how they word it. But you could either take, like, for a hotel, you can check in. They can check in with that dog, or it's a mini horse. And you can't ask what that dog does.
Yeah.
You can't say, well, what's the need that it does for you or something like that. And you can't ask them for papers. So some asshole can check in with a fucking mini horse, and that mini horse is
Where do
shitting
you even get a mini horse? Like,
I don't know, dude. But it's crazy that's a real thing. But yeah, like an asshole bringing a turkey on a fucking plane, you're fucking abusing it. That's
right.
exactly it. It's exact. Well, dude, it's welfare. It's welfare where you go, my husband fucking or my boyfriend left me with our 3 kids. He's a piece of shit, or she's a piece of shit. She left me, and now I got these kids, and I wasn't working because they were the provider, and I need welfare. And then that's the people that need it, or people that come on hard times, or whatever the storyline is. And then it goes to some asshole that's like, I just do it because they're giving me free money.
Right.
And it's just like, you're ruining it. But that's it. That's what.
The crazy part is the fact that that's where my mind immediately goes.
That's a smart move. That's what an adult does.
But
that's what a smart adult does.
I don't,
because human behavior. That's human behavior.
I don't.
Where do I abuse it at?
Maybe because I'm my age now, and it's like,
no,
I'm a pessimist, or I'm a skeptic.
No, but you just know humans. Well, because it's also like, okay, we're going to create this program, but then where could this go wrong at? You're just looking down the road, like where? Because how do we stop that from going wrong that way? How do we get from people to like steering it into that wrong direction? And sometimes you go, you can't do anything. They're still going to beat it somehow.
Someone's going to figure it out.
They're going to beat it. They're always going to beat it. They're always going to beat in the system. That's what it is. Yeah. Phil, let me look, man. I appreciate it. I just wanted to pop your cherry on the fucking podcast.
Thanks,
I wanted people to hear you. Phil, how do they find you on like Instagram or social media? Where do they find you? You got anything?
So, no, I don't.
Oh my God, what is this, dude?
I'm Phil Landriault, Landriault. I'm not the hockey player in Canada.
There's a hockey player named that?
Yeah, a young kid. I think he's a teenager.
Little pussy getter.
And I'm not the cover. I'm not the lead singer for a Foo Fighters cover band. Other than that, that's me.
There's a Foo Fighters cover band lead singer
with my name.
How did you know that?
Because you Google yourself.
Oh my God!
I mean, I Google myself all the time.
So all you got to do is just get more famous than a fucking cover band, Foo Fighters cover band singer, and then some fucking little pussy getter up in Canada that's playing hockey. Is that guy any good?
Apparently, he's always on the stats, so I don't know. I think
you could beat him out, dude. I think you could beat him out, because then when he goes on a podcast, he can go, "Hey, there's either a Foo Fighters guy, that's not me, and then there's a stand-up comic in Chicago that's crushing it, man."
Just look for the fat guy that's usually wearing a suit.
Guys, Bustin' Balls podcast on Instagram, Eric Pennell Comedy on Instagram. Guys, please share the podcast. That helps out better than a thumbs up, but I appreciate the thumbs up. If you like the podcast, please write in. If you don't like the podcast, you can go fuck yourself. Guys, thank you so much for listening. Thank you, Phil.
Thanks, guys.